So this is Ross on behalf of Metaverse Headquarters. Today we're speaking with NFT Sensei XYZ, which is a alpha toolbox for NFTs that provides premium functions like rarity sniping, mint botting, and education. So I'm going to pass it over here to Xeon, who is speaking on behalf of NFT Sensei team. Can you tell us about your alpha tool and then how it's different from other alpha tools currently on the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So the current state of alpha tools in the market, you can give me any competitor name, and I've done a lot of in-depth research on each of them. And there are really good tools out there, but usually they do one thing, and not necessarily they don't even do that one thing um, really to the best of their abilities, what they can do. They usually stagnate in terms of dev, or they don't really expand out and really take into consideration users' feedback and just float along. What we wanted to do was, especially as like NFT traders, we didn't want to spend like half an ETH across each different tool, and that really adds up very quickly when you consider like the vast amount of like tooling out there. So let's say you want to do rarity sniping, you'd pay like 0.5 ETH to like one of the rarity sniping platforms. A lot of them are even subscription based, so it's like a rolling thing. If you want to do mint botting, you'd pay, I know, there's some really good platforms out there that they charge 1 ETH to just get in, and then a 0.5 ETH recurring afterwards, which is expensive in itself. Bid botting is a whole other thing. And even the bid bots on the market nowadays, they don't even necessarily do their tools that well. Like it's not as fast as it could be. Analytics as well, usually gated behind some sort of membership pass or a subscription based. Well tracking. There's a whole vast array of tools out there, but there really isn't many platforms that do it all very well. What NFT Sensei is a alpha tool that is really designed to do quite literally a lot of these things. And it'll quickly become apparent like the scope at which we're working on here, as well as the performance that we're trying to get out of our tool. So to just go through some of our features, I guess it'd probably be good to highlight like where we started from. So the team basically started reveal sniping. So we'd rank NFTs within 5 seconds of reveal. We had an automated bot to basically snipe the rare ones that were listed on the market, and then we'd flip them. In our Discord, you could see we've done a lot of flips, as well as, yeah, it's a highly profitable endeavor. More recently, like with the market, reveals have been less and less lucrative, and so what we decided to do is we decided to pivot and basically expand our existing infrastructure, and make a SaaS analytics tooling platform, an automation platform. But rarity sniping isn't even one of the core value props of our tool. We do get rarities like quite literally within 5 seconds of reveal. I know there are other tools on the market. I don't want to name and shame, but one recently whose whitelist mint didn't go too well. They only get rarities 1 to 3 minutes after reveal, which is quite abysmal. And they have a snipe in their name as well, which is pretty misleading. And this is one of their core value props too. So yeah, like rarity sniping is one thing we already do really well, given we started doing that as that got us into the space. The team is comprised of high frequency traders and developers. I'm a developer at a high frequency trading firm myself. We have data scientists, UI UX designers, and a full-time marketer. So we have a really good team behind us. The other tools that we're offering is a Mintbot. It's a flash bot, multi-wallet Mintbot, where you can pre-sign your transactions. You have a time trigger as well as a sale flag trigger. This has already been developed, by the way. And so we're going to plan and do a demo with your community very soon. We are very serious about not making promises about what we're going to do. We will have all this stuff ready day one utility, and we will make sure you can see that it is functional. The Flashbot Mintbot, Another thing we have is a bid bot. So you give a collection, you give a rank range or a token ID range, and we bid for you. Basically, you proxy your bids through us, and we handle it, and we can get up to 25,000 bids an hour. Which I know there are tools in the market right now whose specialization is just bid botting, and they can only do like 1,000 to 2,000 an hour. So we've already done this. We've already tested it. We can get up to 25,000 an hour, and we know how to engineer it so that we can get even more. So we also have like a whole ass analytics platform with like sell wall, sales graphs, volume graphs, holder graphs, basically everything you need to look at a collection. We're implementing right now in dev the next blue chip probability metric. So you can see the amount of overlap of holders in a given collection with how much of blue chips that they hold. We have a lot of analytics scoped out and stuff. The only bottleneck is really time here. So yeah, we are quite a comprehensive platform. We do everything quite well that we set out to do. There are three things that we actually have, but we can't really reveal right now because they quite literally have not been seen in any NFT alpha tool on the market so far. They are quite literally differentiators, and we don't want to release it so early on, especially as we haven't focused a lot on our marketing. This is one of our first alpha tool like Twitter spaces that we've done, AMAs. MVHQ is a really good friend of one of the people that we know, and so we thought we'd start getting interest from community members as well. We will release these differentiators before our mint, so it's not like we're making empty promises. And so yeah, like we just have quite a diverse toolkit. So just to summarize, we have analytics. So we have all your run-of-the-mill analytics in real time on a dashboard. We have instant rarities on reveal. We've basically benchmarked the algorithm with all the other rarity tools on the market. More specifically, a lot of people use Trait Sniper and Rarity Snipper as a standard. Yeah, we had to benchmark that because we were sniping rares on reveal back in January, February with our sniping bot full time. And so yeah, if we had any of our rankings off, then we were going to bleed money. So that was like #1 priority for us. Yeah, what else? Mintbot, Flashbot Mintbot with multi-wallet support. We're actually deving right now the ability to spin up multiple wallets. So you just give it like, say, I want to get 10 wallets. It'll spin up 10 wallets, and then you can distribute ETH across all of these wallets. It's a very configurable Mintbot, and it's all done from your browser. All of this is all from your browser. You don't download a single thing. Everything's quite secure in your browser. Yeah, unlike other tools with which they make you download software, it's really hard to introspect and figure out like, what is this software doing with your stuff? Another thing is the bid bot. We've tested it out. It works. We'll get a video up soon. 25,000 bids an hour. Yeah, on average. That's the lower bound, and we're going to push our system to be able to do more bids per hour. And yeah, a few integrations that has never been seen before on any NFT analytics tool, and we think they're really good, and you'll really like them. But we're going to definitely time when we release those.
Awesome. No, I really appreciate the overview. It definitely seems like you guys are attempting to be a comprehensive platform for all of the separate tools in the marketplace. So let's go a little bit deeper here into some of these tools. We can start with, I guess, the rarity. And like, we don't have to go super in depth here because I think at this point, rarity is a feature that people are pretty familiar with, and there's definitely a host of tools out there. But what are you using to get your metric? You know, when you're saying Trait Sniper or Rarity Sniffer, or fresh drops, how do you know that you guys measure up adequately to these other tools and you have comparable capabilities in pulling those times after a review?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so yeah, just going back to how we started, I guess what we needed to do was we needed to be able to reverse engineer these ranking algorithms, and our data scientist, she's not on this call right now, but she's written a whole article. We actually have it in our Notion just sitting there, which actually goes into depth on how we calculate these rarities. And Yeah, all these websites they usually use a similar algorithm with some toggles such as trait normalization and trait count you can turn on and off. And so yeah, once we benchmarked our ranking algorithm on like say 10 or so collections, yeah, that's basically when we were like, okay, this matches. And yeah, we snapped many collections on the same algorithm, and yeah, it matched basically exactly the same as these platforms. You have a little variance, and so some ranks might be like say 1 to 2 off, but that's standard. In fact, you'll find that across any platform that you compare with. There is no real ranking standard. So what you basically have to do is if you're implementing a rarity algorithm, you've just got to make it match with like the more popular ones. That's basically it. Um, and in regards to reveal time, we have our entire like custom built reveal system. This includes a custom IPFS server. So if this is getting a bit technical, but if anybody knows about like NFT metadata storage, a lot of the times it's stored on an IPFS server. This IPFS server, well, it's not a server; it's actually a decentralized system of networks, but we have our own dedicated server that we can um, pull rarities, pull traits from, and then rank on reveal. It's like a dedicated highway lane. For the non-IPFS metadata, these are usually stored on like say an Amazon S3 bucket or just somewhere on the internet effectively. We have a multi-threaded system of parallel scrapers. So we spin up effectively 10 or so computers, and we, even within those computers, they're making like say 100 requests per second. You can quickly see how you can cover ground of like say 10,000 NFTs with that system. Um, yeah, it really depends. Like if you're storing your data, if the project stores its data on IPFS, we can, and we have multiple times been able to pull and snipe rares within 5 to 10 seconds of reveal, which is faster than any other platform out there. I can guarantee that. And
So
yeah, with yeah, sorry. Yep.
have you tried using your tool since then? Because I definitely agree with you, right? Like I've been using Fresh Drops for a long time, and also NFT Nerds. And I've paid for other platforms in the past, but I have certainly noticed to your point that the quality kind of falls off, right? As there's more and more people sniping, and there's more of these tools on the market. Either there's a latency with some of the traits coming in, or with some of the metadata reveals, it's just like everything is gone immediately, right? Like you have to really crank up your gas to like 3,000 prio or something just to have a shot at sniping, which is certainly risky, and can be frustrating for people who have invested a lot in tools. So since the development of your own tool, have you guys like field tested this with, a real active or maybe like a hype launch?
Yeah, we have definitely. It's the exact same system we've been using this entire time. I can give you example snipes later on the Discord for sure. I guess another thing you made a really good point though that like with rarity sniping these days it's quite diluted, right? And so it's a tool that we're offering, and to be frankly honest, like you're not guaranteed a lot, right? Like um there's a upper limit of how fast you can be, right? If everyone is as fast as even like if say you're within 20 seconds, that's a good time that you're going to be competing with the next block, right? So at that point it doesn't matter if you revealed in 1 second or like 15 seconds. If you're revealing within the same block, then you often will just be competing on gas at that point. And so it really just becomes like a consequence of the market that yeah, it's just gas war at that point. And we've definitely won and lost a bit in gas wars, and have made a lot of learning since then. We're more than happy to share that with everybody else, and on how to really optimize how you trade reveals, because a lot of these tools they just make empty promises that, oh yeah, hey, use our platform, you get reveals and you can snipe, but people buy and then they're like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, sorry if I can't swear, but yeah.
Oh, you could
um
swear, man. No
okay,
worries.
cool, cool.
Um,
Yeah.
can you tell us, have you, because I know you said this is based on a browser, so are you prepared for hosting the entire, I guess, like population of people using this tool? And do you believe that even under a stress test where there's, a bunch of people actively using your tool, on this browser extension that it'll still be running and there won't be too much latency?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's actually not a browser extension right now. We can definitely develop one. We find it as browser extensions sound cool, but having it all in one platform is like one website. It's really good, and yeah, it's definitely scalable. We're using a bunch of scalable web technologies underneath that really scales to like many different users. Um, yeah, there should be no problems there. Um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Sweet. So I guess moving on from rarity, I wanted to talk about the bids for a little bit here. We have spoken to other, bid platforms in the past, and something that we've run into is that for platforms where you're not importing your private key, you have to manually approve all of the bids as they're being placed via your MetaMask. So it kind of rates the limit at which you can place those bids just to those manuals. So when you're saying that you can place over 1,000 bids in an hour, which is certainly super impressive. Um, does this require the users to give up their private key, or have you found some new type of way that you can get around that and have all of your transactions auto approved for you still?
Yeah, sure. We wish we could say that we figured that out, but it's actually the way that the whole bidding system works. It's quite technically impossible to be able to do that. Like, um, yeah, because effectively when that MetaMask window pops up, right? Um, it's basically using your private key. MetaMask is using your private key to sign a bid. Um, so yeah, unless MetaMask like allows batch signing of like say 1,000 bids, we really can't do anything in that regard. So yes, you will need to import your private key, but that's a standard across the platforms. It's obviously advised to use a burner wallet at that point, just security purposes. But yeah, we're not making you download anything onto your computer, which I think is a big selling point for us. It's browser based. A lot of other tools they make you download like a whole ass app to run on your computer, which I'm not a big fan of. And our main value prop here is that we're not doing just 1,000 bits an hour. We're doing 25,000 bits an hour, which is unheard of on the market. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. 25,000 bids an hour. So if there's no workaround for that, how are you able to get so many bids in an hour if you have to manually approve every, MetaMask transaction? Like, are you saying it just has that capability if you were like a machine and could click as fast as possible, or are you actually like, like by leveraging your browser and going onto your platform, people are able to actually put in 25,000 bids like in real life?
Oh no. So the whole private key thing is like across every platform. Like you can't avoid it. You'll need to give your private key to the platform to be able to put those bids in. So the platform can sign every single bid for you. There is unfortunately no real way to get to that level of bids per hour. So if you don't want to give your private key, completely fine, completely understandable. That's what everyone says. Don't give it up. We will show guides on how to like automate the signing of the MetaMask process. So using like a mouse clicker, for example, it's a very repetitive process. You like press the down arrow and click sign many times, and so we have actually we've actually cut out a lot of the BS that other platforms actually include. So even with MetaMask signing, we have basically pushed the limits on how fast we get that MetaMask window up for you to sign a bid, and to push it through our system. So even in the case of like MetaMask, we're not promising 25,000 bits an hour. That's only with like giving up your private key. But even in the case where you have to sign it with your MetaMask, we're promising that it's as fast as possible. Probably the fastest in the market. Um, yeah,
Wow.
you will still be limited to signing those transactions.
Awesome. No, I really appreciate that. That was a great answer. Let's move on to contract minting. I think this is, of all the features that you mentioned, the one I'm most excited about, just because I haven't really seen a lot of tools get this one right yet. Can you maybe describe, just from a development point of view, because I don't really have a development background at all, how are you guys able to leverage your bot to mint off contracts for people who don't have a lot of technical experience but want to use your tool? What can they expect? And then is this something that would be deployable on most contracts? Because I know for some of them you wouldn't be able to get the signature ahead of time, so I'm assuming for some contracts it just wouldn't work. But just like on an average release, what can a user of NFT Sensei expect for contract minting?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good point. Yeah, like not all contracts can be mint-botted. In fact, like the Hikari whitelist, for example, they require, so like whitelist minting is really can't be botted, but even then, usually you don't bot whitelist mints. You can just do it from the website. But yeah, for most other contracts, you'll basically just get the contract address, you paste it into the bot. Um, you do need to do your own like research beforehand. Well, actually, not really. Like with the platform, our members can just reach out to us, and we'll basically be like, okay, here's how you set up in Mintbot. You just give us like a contract address. We'll read the code. We'll make sure you have the right parameters set. And yeah, just from your browser, you just set it up and start a task. And either if it's a time trigger mint or a sale flag mint, if it's time trigger, it'll wait for that time, and it'll trigger at the millisecond level. So you give it like a millisecond timestamp. The other option is you wait for like a method to be sent to the contract and get confirmed on the blockchain. At this point, we'll detect it instantly as soon as it's confirmed. We've actually shown your team this in action, so it's not empty promises. We've shown how 3 different wallets were able to mint off a sale flag trigger. And yeah, it's pretty customizable. All I can say is, man, it just works. Yeah, and we'll be there to provide the assistance to the people who aren't technical, because it is a technical endeavor to be able to Mintbot. But if you have somebody on your side, somebody experienced, like I am, it really becomes a no-brainer. We will help you get set up with that.
Awesome. No, we absolutely love no-brainers. For the contract minting, is it something that you have to set the gas ahead of time, or does your bot have some sort of means of measuring active gas levels and auto scaling as it detects that that's escalating?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are 2 modes to run a Mintbot on. A Mintbot can be run with a pre-signed transaction. So that means you will have to like give the private keys for your wallet. So if you want multi-wallet minting, the alternative is, right, you don't give up your private key, and then at the time of mint, you've got to sign, like, let's say you have 5 wallets and you're multi-wallet minting from that. You'll have to like sign. I don't even think it's possible. You'd have to like switch on your MetaMask extension to each wallet and then like sign each transaction. And by the time you sign all those transactions across all your wallets, right, it's probably just going to be minted out. So the ideal use case here is you create like say 5 or 10 burner wallets. You distribute like a minimum amount of ETH to all of them, and then on mint, um, it pre-signs that transaction, and yes, you'll have to give it like the gas in advance. That's an unfortunate consequence because your transaction actually includes the amount of gas you're willing to pay. So yeah, so if you're going to pre-sign your transaction, you'll give it the gas amount. Yeah, there's a bit of math to do beforehand on that. It really depends on the mint. For example, the Carrefour mint happened a while ago. The mint price was like 0.5 ETH, if I recall correctly, and the floor on OpenSea was around 3.5 and 4 ETH. And so people were willing to pay around like 1 to 2 ETH in gas, and you could calculate that beforehand, right? You could calculate like what is the arbitrage bound here? How much am I willing to burn in gas to make like a certain amount of profit, right? And so if you were guaranteed like a 0.5 profit, you'd be able to calculate that gas beforehand of like how much you need to pay. It really does depend on network conditions, but we can actually implement auto scaling quite easily.
Wow. No, that's really awesome. I really appreciate all the answers, Jan. This seems like you're very familiar with this area and very technically experienced. And just by your answers, I can tell you definitely know a lot about the space. Do you want to maybe use this as an opportunity to talk about your background, just as a dev, and where did you build such a impressive skill set that you can just so effortlessly talk about all these tools and their functionalities?
Awesome. Yeah, sure. So I'm working as a high frequency developer at a trading firm, and so it's quite literally basically what our tool set is, but in the equities and derivatives market on these centralized exchanges. We'll be quitting my job soon, probably, especially to focus full time on this. yeah, I haven't been doing much actual work at work. In fact, I'm supposed to be working right now. But anyway, this is much more exciting for us. So yeah, like we work at like the nanosecond level. Like we actually have hardware executing into real markets. Like yeah, millions of dollars being transacted, and so that experience can directly translate to this market as well.
Awesome. No, that's so cool. I've like heard of high frequency developers in the past, but I've never actually gotten the chance to meet one. That seems like a pretty like high frequency environment per the name, no pun intended.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I want to switch gears for a little bit here because we've definitely gotten some technical details on the tool. Now I want to know about access to the tool. Can you tell us about your mint coming up? How many spots do you have available for this tool? What is your pricing model? And how long can people expect access for if they hold whatever you're dropping on your mint day?
Yeah, awesome. So by nature of us having so many tools within our platform, we're going to think long and hard, especially in the coming weeks, on how we're going to structure things, right? Just intuitively, if these tools in isolation, they actually, if you summed up like what other providers are providing for each tool in isolation, you'd find it quickly approaches like 2 ETH, if not expands upon it. I know some Mintbots right now, they're costing 1 ETH to get in and then 0.5 ETH to renew. We're definitely not going to make our mint like 2 ETH or anything like that. But we really need to think about, especially how we're going to cover our expenses as we move forward. So the way that we I don't want to reveal too much about our methodology, but to get up to 25,000 bids per hour on our bidbot is it's not cheap on the infrastructure side of things. We do a lot of engineering work at the back. So we really need to think about, how can we sustain the model? There's a lot of models that we can do. For example, the membership can give you ungated access to the analytics and rarity sniping platform, and give you, like, for example, five free mints, or 100,000 bids, for example. Um, we want to give it as ungated as possible because we want to make sure that our pass is like the most valuable thing out there, and we might actually look to basically make each tool a subscription model, so people can buy in isolation, but we will always make it such that getting the membership pass is probably the better deal overall. In terms of supply, we're thinking around 1,000 to 2,000, but we have not confirmed that yet. We need to really straddle the line between, like, this isn't a PFP project where we're just trying to like mint out the max amount of that we can or anything. We really want to make sure that we're not giving too much away to too many people, because it is highly lucrative. So we wanted to make it pretty exclusive. So yeah, we're definitely going to confirm that, and when we do our demo with your community, we'll have a much more affirmative answer to that question. Especially as we think more about like mint mechanics and scope out our expenses.
Awesome. Very cool. So I guess aside from pricing and membership passes, and I appreciate you letting us know you'll hear more about that in the future. Can you tell us about, I guess, just the team? I know you gave a intro to your background, but how dedicated are you guys to this project? Like, are you still going to be working on high frequency trading as well as this, or is this going to be your main focus and brainchild for however long it lasts for?
Yeah, so I took a couple of weeks off leave off work, the last 2 weeks, just to focus full time on this platform. As you know, we're very dev focused, and so we're making sure we actually have the platform, and all of our features ready to go on day one. We're very serious about this. So the team we're all working on equity at this point, of MintRev, and we plan to support it as like a full time product, and we're all going to like leave our jobs as soon as that happens. We're pretty risk averse in terms of, you don't want to leave your job for a project unless you can deliver. So for the team, so there's myself. I'm a high frequency dev. We have a trader, steganography. He's actually full time in Web3 now, and so he spends a lot of time on this project. He's like a professional trader. He used to trade. If anybody knows much about crypto, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, he did like this kimchi arbitrage in the markets. Here, our trader was actually doing that at a trading firm. That's how SBF made his millions and billions of dollars. And yeah, our trader was actually doing that at a firm as well. But they didn't like it because of like reputational risk. Anyway, TLDR, he's like a very, very smart guy and very dedicated to this and trading strategies and stuff like that. We have a data scientist as well. She's working at Web2 right now, but at a Fortune 100 company, and she's been doing all of the analytics and SQL queries to make sure that we can actually get what we have in our database into our front end at a near real time basis. We have a full-time UI UX marketer. She's left her job and she's now focusing on this full-time. And we have a marketer as well who's on contract work for the project, but it takes up like 80% of his time. We're ramping up marketing efforts now. Oh yeah, and we also recently onboarded a motion animator and designer to help out with our marketing. We want to really hit home that we can the value of our tool through visual means very soon.
That's great. I'm not cutting you off right now, am I? You know, Twitter sometimes rugs right now. You
No,
seem
no,
like awesome. Yeah, that's so exciting. I mean, it definitely seems like you guys are taking the right order of operations here. I appreciate that you guys are hiring UI, UX, and marketing towards the end of developing the tools, right? It would certainly be kind of a red flag if you're like, oh, we have like awesome UI, UX, like we're going to get these tools working at some point. So that's great. Do you have a timeline for when we can expect your suite to hit the market? And I guess I know you said that these tools are ready, but just want to make sure, like, are all the features that you've mentioned to this point, they're ready to be deployed whenever your platform is officially launched, or is it going to be
yeah,
scaled out in phases?
no, these are all ready to be deployed. I'm not guaranteeing that there won't be some hiccups. There always is on launch. But yeah, we've definitely tested it as much as we can, and we're aiming around first week of May. For Mint and access day one utility. And before then, we're going to be getting all of our explainer videos and like demos out of the way as well. So there's a lot of confidence for our community.
Sweet. Can't wait. So at this point, Xeon, I want to turn it over to the audience and ask anyone who's listening if they have any questions about your tool, about your platform, about your project team. At MVHQ, we really like to ask difficult questions, burning questions, whatever's on the audience mind. We really want to welcome anyone to ask anything that they want to know about your project, and that way we get a better sense of what you know, and certainly showcase the expertise that you have. Are you open to bringing some people up here?
Absolutely, hit me with it. Grill the fuck out of me.
Oh, let's do it, guys. Let's make him a panini at right here. Grill it. I'm bringing up Bruce right now, and then Kolwea. I'm going to add them as well. Just give him a moment to load here, and we'll get him up. Bruce, welcome to the stage.
Hey, team. How are you guys doing? Can everyone hear me right now?
Yeah.
Awesome. How's everyone doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I just want to let you know I've done some research into your tool, and I'm actually genuinely invested. I'm a Trace Sniper and Alpha Shark user, so tools like this actually they grab my attention. I just wanted to ask you a question, a personal question, because I know when you create tools like this, there's a ton of works in the background when it comes to coding and all sorts of those things. So I just wanted to ask you, what's your background when it comes to, I guess, computing and like this type of stuff?
Yeah, sure. I have a bachelor in computer science, and I've done work for the government of the country I'm in, as well as this HFT firm I'm at. Yeah, just have been love to program since I was young. You know how the classic programmer archetype, and yeah, just like building shit.
That's honestly really assuring to hear, because I know there are a couple other tools, and when I asked them the same question, they actually said we don't have any background when it comes to creating bots and stuff like that. So that's super assuring, and I just wanted to say keep up with what you're doing, and big shout out to Ross with his little ghostly ghost. I love that. That's so cool. And yeah, thank you for having me on the stage. Thank you.
Hey,
No
thank
worries,
you,
thank you.
Bruce. Bruce, before you step down, can you tell us, as someone who uses some of these sniping bots, like what are some of the tools in your research or aspects of NFT Sensei that intrigued you?
It's honestly how things refresh so quickly. You know, like for example, when I use my Alpha Shark, I can see how many people are actually going for that same transaction. You know, stuff like that really, like, I love that stuff. Super advanced technology when it comes to botting and sniping. For example, you know, as I said, I can actually see when I use my Alpha Shark how many people are going for that exact same transaction, and like when it comes to revealing, um, how fast the things reveal and how quickly you can snipe. You know, so these type of things, like, I have a ton of interest into this.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bruce. Definitely appreciate you joining us tonight and showing some love for MVHQ as well as NFT Sensei.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. Much love.
Much love. Kilauea, I got you on the line here. What's going on?
Hey man, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, I'm enjoying this AMA so far. This tool sounds really good. I just had a couple of questions regarding. I did say that you're going to be offering like a Mintbot. So like I
Yep.
just wanted to like ask like more questions, like what exactly it's gonna do. Like is it gonna be able to buy and sell on its own? Like what will it offer in the tool?
Yeah, sure. So the Mintbot is exclusively for minting the NFTs. So it automates that process for you. So you can technically set it up and go to sleep and wake up and your NFTs will be minted. In terms of selling it automatically, so that's actually been quite a popular request. I haven't seen anybody on the market do it. However, we actually are wanting to extend Postman into a portfolio management suite. We actually have a few novel ideas not seen in the space. Yeah, I wish I could say more, but I think you'll understand as I reveal more over the coming few weeks, the potential of our platform. But where we want to have a killer like portfolio management suite, as well as like the ability to like automatically sell your NFTs at a certain price or when a certain parameter is hit, like floor, as well as to also value your portfolio in a more intelligent way. A lot of our Sorry, I'm just talking about portfolio management here, but just wanted to show you like some of the ideas we're thinking about. A lot of these portfolio management tools, that they value your portfolio based on like the floor of the collection. But like if the floor is like say 4 ETH, but like nobody's traded on the collection for like 30 days, it's a bit of a cooked metric. You don't get very accurate views of your portfolio. So our data scientists and trader, we've already thought of so many different ways to basically intelligently calculate how much your portfolio is actually truly worth. And that in turn can give you basically a much more confident way of flipping your NFT and selling it at a good price. So yeah, selling and valuing and stuff like that is something that we have definitely in the pipeline, and we do actually care a lot about.
Okay, but thank you so much for answering my question. I just joined the Discord, so I'm looking forward to what else on the upcoming news and what else you guys are gonna offer.
For sure. Thanks, man.
No problem. Thank you.
Zion, I want to bring to your attention, we have NFT alerts by Moby in the audience. Are you nervous that this is some sort of covert spy op here?
Bring it on, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I'd love to talk to different groups and different creators in the space.
That's pretty awesome that they're there. I see they're only following one person. NFT alerts, if you're listening, whoever's running the account, you want to hop up here and talk it up to an up and coming tool king? I'm going to invite you to speak if you'd like. Would love to have you up here. Man, you see a whale, you got to go fishing, huh? They don't always bite, though. Oh, they're waving. All right. Well, thank you.
Fair enough.
Does anyone else in the audience want to come up here and ask some questions for Zion about NFT Sensei Toolbox? We would love to get some questions from the audience. This is definitely for you guys out here, especially if you're looking for new tools. Maybe you've never used a sniping tool before. Maybe you used every sniping tool on the market. You're looking for something different. Certainly seems like Zion is well equipped to answer any and all questions about this. So would love to hear from you guys. All right. Well, in the meantime, going to give an open call to the audience to just react or request the mic. We'll get you up here. Oh, sweet. We got someone here. Hammer, Toes, Nose. Let's get him up.
What a name.
Hammer, happy Monday.
Hey, to you too. I apologize because I missed the very beginning. So if this has been covered, again, apologies. Just in thinking globally about your suite of tools, I come from like sort of traditional research background, GLM, that sort of thing. Are you thinking of involving like inferential methods in this at all, or is this more about, you know, sort of real-time description and action? And by inferential, I just mean, you know, I hate to use the word predictive because everybody uses that, but looking at sort of third variables that load on things, whether it's, you know, things like time of day, day of week, those sorts of things, or any other covariates.
Yeah, sure. I get what you're basically asking. It's basically, is there more than just real-time analytics? Is there some sort of other metrics that we're going to be including into the platform? And absolutely. So let me actually, I'm on my Notion right now. We just had an analytics call recently, and I'll just read out to you some of the notes that we took down. So if we're in a bull, if the collection is like bullish or bearish, like generally things are bullish if active listings is less than sales and vice versa. From a momentum standpoint, if price is trending upwards in the last X time period, then it is also bullish. So maybe we should create an indicator for bullish, bearish, neutral. We're going to be thinking about what other metrics could be bullish or bearish. And if you can think of any sorry, I'm just reading out our notes. Blue chip holder, this will be blue chip percentage score. Social media, I could have Twitter, Discord numbers. And we're looking at floor compared to mint price. Yeah, we have like this whole ass Notion article about how we're going to approach analytics, and we definitely want to give more insights than just your stock standard like sales history chart. Like we want to basically think about really what actually matters in the space, and how can we give better like indicators to our community so that they can evaluate NFT collections in a much more intelligent way. I wish I could tell you exactly what technical methods we're going to be using, but we have yet to confirm that. But definitely feel free to join our Discord. You can actually nerd out with our HFT trader. He's very math oriented as well. So I think any questions that you have, he'd be able to answer it, and you can have a good time chatting with him.
Appreciate it. Just joined, so I will do that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Ken. Really appreciate having you up here. Hammer, excuse me. Someone in the audience has like an eerily similar PFP to you, and I was just caught scrolling down there, but thanks for coming up. Let's see here. Anyone else in the audience? Andre DeMaro. Wow. A 99K follower just casually chilling in the audience, and he's verified. Andre, you want to come on up here? We're talking about NFTs and stuff. Just shocked to see you here at 9:45 with such an esteemed account straight from Rio de Janeiro. I'm really getting into baiting them, Zion. That's how you got to get the audience up here sometimes. We got Virus. Usually not excited to see viruses when it comes to your line of work, Zion, but I think we'll make an exception this time.
Yeah, let's see if he could try break the browser security that we have.
All right, Virus, rug us.
Hey, how y'all doing? I wanted to see like how are y'all gonna charge for this tool? Is it gonna be like a monthly fee, a one-time fee? How is that?
Yeah, sure. So we've yet to completely sort out like how we plan to fund our expenses. That's like the big part. Like ideally we give you like ungated access to the entire tool, but a lot of our infrastructure on the back end actually scales in terms of expenses with the amount of usage that comes into it. So the majority of the tool will just be ungated to members of our Sensei pass, which we're going to call it. But like complete transparency, our Bidbot, if we're going to achieve like 25,000 bids per hour at a minimum, that's actually somewhat expensive to us on the back end. So we're thinking of like offering perhaps say 150,000 bids for Genesis Pass holders, and they can like renew it at a very small fee for like say a next like 100,000 bids. Yeah, we just need to be careful. Like if we give ungated access to an entire platform and we have a lot of infrastructure supporting it, we need to make sure that that's not getting abused. But yeah, for the majority of the platform, a lot of it isn't expensive at all, and so we can just provide ungated access at all times. It's mainly the operations, the tools that require you to send operations through our platform. That's usually the ones that are expensive. For like analytics and like sniping and stuff like that, they're usually just like read-only operations where you're getting data from our infrastructure, and that's usually pretty cheap. And so that'll be ungated completely, if that makes sense. We'll give you a much more certain pricing very soon.
Yeah. One more thing, like, is there any risk of like, obviously y'all want to like keep like security and safety, but like, so we would have to connect our wallets to the tool, right? Is there any like
Yeah,
risk of it being breached somehow? Like, obviously you aren't taking measures, but I just was curious about that.
yeah, sure. So you'll have to connect your wallet because we use that as an authentication method. So how do we know that you actually have the NFT pass, right? We need to be able to check your wallet and get you to sign a message saying that you actually own the wallet. So that's unavoidable, and it shouldn't be that much news because every tool in the market does it that way. If there's enough demand, I don't think there would be, but we could switch to like a username password way of logging in, but that's not the Web3 way, so probably not. So yeah, you'll have to connect to your wallet, but we're not going to force you to enter any private keys in or anything if you don't want to. Yeah, definitely, it's like a use it as your own at your own level of like risk tolerance, and then as you realize the value of our platform, you'd quickly understand that you can utilize the full extent of it without any issues.
All right, thank you so much.
Cool. Anyone else?
What makes it faster than like someone going? Because like usually you'll go on a site and you'll try to mint it. It's only like a few buttons. You would hit like the amount mint, and then you would like pay depending whatever gas like you're comfortable with paying. What's gonna make it like faster than that method?
Yeah, sure. So can you hear me, by the way? I'm not sure if my internet's cut out.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. So minting, let me just run through with you the process of minting, right? So either it's time-based or sale flag-based. These are the two main methods. So time-based means like in the like NFT smart contract, there's a certain time at which you can mint. And the other alternative is you have to wait for like something to happen on the chain before you can on the blockchain before you can send your mint transaction. And if you send it before that happens, you're going to get your mint rejected. So you really need to wait for that event to happen. And with both scenarios, you have this thing that you're waiting for, whether it be a time or a method to be called on the contract. And if you're fast enough to detect that and fire your mint, you're more likely to get that NFT. And other people will be using other tools and other mint bots that they have. And so you're going to be competing at that space. If you're doing it from the website and it's a very profitable mint or very highly anticipated, you're almost guaranteed to not get your mint through because it's just way too slow to manually click on the thing, refresh the page, sign the window, set custom gas. In that amount of time, I could have minted like 50 NFTs with my tool, if that makes sense. So yeah, like it just like with regular, it really comes down to regular automation, right? The computer will always be faster than the human, and you just have that on your side with a Mintbot.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now, because a lot of times you're waiting for them to announce like now you can mint,
Exactly.
and sometimes you might not get it that exact second.
And often like when they announce when they can mint, it's actually like a minute after you can actually mint. Like sometimes I've seen they announce that you can mint and like the actual entire collection has been minted out at that point. And it's pretty feels bad for people who don't have these tools on their side,
Okay, so it could be able to detect it before they really announce it, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's completely technical, and so it doesn't rely on any announcements. Yeah, which is really
That's
good.
awesome.
Dope. I am back. My apologies, Xeon. I just got rugged by Twitter there.
Sad.
Maybe you could take some of your dev talents over there. I'll say it in every Twitter Spaces that I ever host. We need whoever is behind Twitter. I guess we got to start adding Elon. We need better emotes for these spaces. You know, I need to throw up the 100. I need a cry react. Like the heart in the laughing doesn't always cut it. Like sometimes you gotta spice it up.
Yeah, there's actually a meme in the dev community is like Twitter doesn't ship any features, and so it's pretty like, yeah, they haven't done much recently.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get a sense of that. I really appreciate you just being so open and giving us such great explanations. I think this has been like a perfect blend of technical and non-technical. I do once again want to just ask anyone who's listening in the audience, please feel free to request the mic. If you have any questions or comments for the NFT Sensei team, we really want to make sure that everyone has a chance to explore this alpha firsthand and ask anything that's on their mind. But with that, we can start to wrap up and maybe just ask you some questions, Xeon. Um, you know, in this NFT space, do you have any high moments or just highlights that, you know, will stick out to you since joining this space? It's certainly a fast-paced place and a lot happens, but just curious along this journey, like what are some moments that stick out to you?
Yeah, I guess one of the very first moments of so what actually got me into the space was really the technical challenge. And then I grew to really love the community, and it just so much more welcoming and wholesome than what I do in my day job. But I guess when it comes to highlights, so one of the first rarity snipes I made was it was a flip from I think 0.25 ETH to 5 ETH, which was pretty insane at that point. I was like, what the fuck? Like this is the potential from basically taking rares from the paper handers of a collection. I want to do this all the time. And so yeah, that really actually got me really hooked onto the space. And as I delved more and more into it, I saw a lot of these more pain points, and I decided to address them with our tool. Like we wanted to get all of these different things and just put it in one platform and do everything really well.
Awesome. I was gonna say it's sort of in the similar vein, but I'd love to pose the question to you, just as like a final opportunity to shill here. If you could tell anyone listening why they should pick your tool when it comes out and why they should be looking to join NFT Sensei over any other tool that's on the market, what would you tell them?
Yeah, pretty simply, like why pay 2 ETH plus for all of these different tools with like poor cohesion and community support, and like yeah, like a lot of them are driven by primarily hype and marketing. You'd probably be better better spent your ETH on a tool that is like day one utility, and you can definitely see that there's a killer team backing it, and it contains basically everything you need to effectively trade in the space. Yeah, that's the alternative. That's a value prop that you're basically deliberating between. It's like paying a lot of ETH for all of these different tools, or paying for one that has like a very promising future, if not very good future on day one utility. And yeah, just I want to highlight like this is just the beginning. Like this is just day one utility. We have so much stuff on our plans, and I've been able to do all of this while working my full-time job. Just imagine if I when I focus on this full time, what would be possible.
Awesome. No, that's a really great answer. I again really appreciate it and you taking time to speak with us. I'm really excited for your office hours and MVHQ chat. I am going to use that as a plug too for MVHQ, if you don't mind, Xeon, for me just giving a quick shout out to the team.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
appreciate it. So shout out to Metaverse headquarters. They are hosting this Twitter Spaces as well as many others. We really differentiate ourselves from other alpha groups on the market because we are no BS, like no frills, no. I don't want to say anything PG. I'm just feeling very PG right now. My apologies, but we don't just hype up projects for no reason, right? Like we really like to ask them thorough questions and like Xeon, perfect example today. We asked you very technical level questions. We ask you what differentiates you from other projects, and we're really trying to respond to that and take it in. with other projects that we speak to and have seen other alpha groups out there, there's just sort of like this blind, we love this project no matter what they do. And there's so many red flags that we see every day in the market. So we love to be able to call those out. We love to objectively look at projects through a very scrutinizing lens, and just get into the weeds, talk about it with the community. So in Metaverse headquarters, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing office hours at some point with NFT Sensei once they launch their platform. In office hours, all of our members get a even closer look at these projects, a lot of screen sharing, a lot of talks individually with the devs in an even smaller setting, as well as just daily alpha callouts. Best traders in the planet are in there. Like, it's just such a powerful community. I have so much love for it because it gets us connected to strong projects every single day, like NFT Sensei right here. I mean, this is amazing. You guys are offering a platform here that's doing what so many other tools are doing separately, all in one package. So very excited to see it, excited for the launch and more details to come. We'll certainly be in your office hours and Metaverse headquarters. So really appreciate it. And thanks for letting me do a quick shout out to the community there, as PG as this one was. Some days I come in here with F-bomb energy, but today we're just keeping it respectful. You know, we're chilling with NFT Sensei. Got to be Zen.
I love it. I love it. Keen to do the demo with the community, and so to show you what we've got.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know it's early in the week for a lot of people on a Monday here, and I think we've had some great questions and a great opportunity to get an overview of your guys' tool. But please, if you're listening, check out NFT Sensei, give them a follow, join their Discord. And huge shout out to Zion for joining us today. Really appreciate it, man. You've been awesome. I really appreciate your insights on all things technical and non-technical. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing you in the office hours.
Awesome. See ya.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. Chad, let's play it out.